Is Hot Girl Summer still happening this year?
How many carbs are in a White Claw?
If I squat every day, will I get a dump truck?
I'm Shai.
I'm Leah.
We are Two-Tone Training.
You're listening to Don't Tone Alone.
Straight from the gym to the podcast studio. Special guests.
Us.
You're welcome.
It's Two-Tone Training.
Back by popular demand. No guests, just us. We were just saying, I was like, I'm a little nervous.
This is the first time I've ever felt genuinely nervous for a podcast.
Because we're never like really in the spotlight. I feel like I'm always
so
I have a million
yeah.
questions for you, and like the heat's on the guest.
I know. I'm so good at just like prying about everyone else's life and being like so nosy and like tell me every detail. And then someone asks me one question about myself and I'm like, why do you want to know that?
I know, it's funny what we put out on social media. And it's funny for us to be saying that when we do post like a day in the life, but you have so much control over kind of what you're putting out there.
That's such an interesting thing. Like you really are controlling the narrative.
Very true. Like I'm only going like
that's why like the real, what is that new app? Have you heard of that? It's like Be Real. Have you heard of that? Shay?
Yes, wait. Yeah. Oh, Chad uses it.
Yeah, so Chad. It's just like everyone, like obviously social media is so like such a highlight reel, and it's like, no, be real for a sec. What are you doing?
Right. Okay. So if people don't know what we're talking about, it pretty much is like Snapchat, but it's like an instant time. So like you have to like basically reply to the Snapchat within like, I want to say it's like within a minute. So,
yeah.
Like,
and if
you can't really like go and do your makeup or like.
Wait, so what happens if you don't? Is there some sort of like punishment?
Or I don't think you get to like answer it. I don't know. I wish we did more research before
I know.
I talked about it, but I'm trying to think like what would yours for the most part be?
I feel like I like lately since I quit my full-time job, which like we'll get into all that later, I've been driving around a lot. So I feel like it would be me in the car.
Actually,
jamming out.
Probably same with like my slicked back bun, my greasy hair, the sunscreen down my face.
You know what it would be? Me like squirming in my chair because my toxic trait, we just posted on our Instagram, toxic trait showing up late with Starbucks. My other toxic trait is that I drink so much water. I'm like addicted. We like drink these First Form hydration packets, which like sweeten the water. And I'm so addicted to them that I have so much water every day. So I constantly need to pee. So like whenever,
it's like not to brag, but I'm hydrated as fuck.
No, but like whenever I go I drive anywhere that's longer than 20 minutes, I'm like, gotta buckle up.
I do love the hydration packets, but I feel like I'm more guilty of like grabbing like an energy drink or like
I'm trying to limit caffeine.
Or like coffee. I know
it's really bad, but no, my toxic trait is that I drink too much water.
Drink too much. Clarify, water.
Oh
my god, speaking of drinking, let's talk about your birthday weekend, dude.
Oh my god, so I just turned 26, which I keep saying like, you know, like we're around each other so much. So that's another thing I feel like we both pick up on, like what each other responds to things where like for. So like, for example, people keep saying, oh, you're turning 26. And like my response is always, oh, the worst age ever, kicked off my parents' insurance. Are you sick of me saying that?
Yeah, like I feel like I'd have no sympathy for you again because I was the first child. So like I feel like as soon as I got my first job, I was off my insurance. So like now I just feel like mom and dad owe me money. Like health insurance is so freaking expensive, and if you and
it's
especially
so
now because
annoying.
Leah and I, this is like the exciting news too, is that we both left our full-time jobs to ideally pursue our passion. But I think the trouble with America, this is turning into a political podcast, is that
Jesus. Here, go ahead.
The freaking health insurance. Like basically, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Like I'm not on health insurance right now, so like God forbid I get hit with the dumbbell.
Dude, that's like straight up illegal. Like
I feel like I shouldn't be out. Do we need to cut this?
I think we need to cut this. No, it's so insane. Like before I could really take the leap of faith in like quitting my full-time job, I had to figure out my health insurance.
Wait, can we talk about your health insurance too? Like I want to go back to this.
You wanted
Leah,
to talk?
Like first of all, when you find health insurance, like if you're in Mass, you should go to Mass Health Connector. But if you are, Leah found hers like just like Googling, and she picked like the first ad that comes up. So she definitely has like a scam of a health insurance. Like
I'm gonna show my health insurance to my doctor, and they're gonna be like, straight up, this doesn't work. Like I don't know what this is.
Yeah, like I'm confused on to where you can go.
You can go rub some dirt in it.
Yeah, like we're both screwed. So like You have to be very careful.
Yeah. All right. Well, good thing we have very active physical jobs.
No, I know. So this is a huge liability. Probably even having us in the podcast studio.
Yeah. Could fall out of that chair at any moment. But back to my birthday.
Yes.
So back to me being 26. So everyone, we're 2 years apart and everyone thinks we're twins. And we totally play into that.
Well, yeah, we dressed like, what's the TikTok we did the other day? Like guilty. That's like
the
trending sound. And it's like,
so
like, I don't know why people think that. And like, we're like wearing the same outfit, the slick back bun.
Yeah.
Makeup,
always.
eyebrows the same way.
Always.
Spiked.
Has to be spiked, laminated. No, my birthday was such a blast. It's so funny. My mom is like getting annoyed with us. She's like, stop making your birthdays like this big soiree. Like it's obnoxious, ladies.
Well, I think our friends like always know too. They're like, the summer months come around and they're like, what are the Dowdy sisters doing for their birthday? So now I feel like we have like
we have to live
reputation.
Right. We have a reputation to uphold.
Like last year I got Leah a full on boat. Like how do you top a boat?
Yeah. No, that was insane. And then this year they like surprised me at like with a baller brunch. So I used to play basketball in college.
We need to like post the invite here so that you guys can see it.
Yeah. No, I used to play basketball and lacrosse in college, but basketball was like my main sport. And I was like such a tomboy growing up, such a baller.
We would go shopping and like I would go to the girls aisle and Leah would definitely just like book it for the men's department. Like, and we would go swimming and like Leah would wear like swim trunks with like a swim shirt.
It's so true.
And it used to be like the biggest compliment.
I remember mom made me wear a dress like, or she didn't make me, but she's like, I think you would look really nice in this for like school pictures. I literally cried the entire day before, was like kicking and screaming on my way to school. And then as soon as like I took my photo, I like went right back in my sweatshirt and my like fire flame beanie.
I remember like when it was like a big deal for your like bat mitzvah, like
I wore gauchos.
So like gauchos were like your
and I cried. I cried again for the gauchos.
Oh my God. Speaking of like gauchos and old trends, that's what we did on
Saturday.
Friday.
No, that was Saturday. We did
a track.
Yeah, so it was a whole birthday weekend. My birthday was actually Monday, so naturally I had to celebrate all weekend long. So Saturday was a Y2K party, and
I feel like I had a hard time like wrapping my head around that theme, especially now in fashion when like everything kind of like comes back into trend. You know what I mean? So like I wore like was like bell bottoms, and I kind of was like, it was that 90s, was that 2000? Like I don't know, and now they're back in trend.
No, I was disappointed at your
Okay, well,
your outing.
I just like wasn't sure like what the vibe was. Like you were doing it most.
You love a good theme, and you did not throw yourself into
That's rude.
this.
If you guys see pictures of me, you'll think I looked cute because
I mean,
had,
you
like,
did look
a
cute.
Daisy shirt, which people.
She's like,
was
I have a
lingerie.
Daisy shirt on. That's so Y2K.
And then my hair was in buns, barrettes, and then I threw some butterfly caps.
Everyone said so. I thought that I looked like Britney Spears at first, but then I got like the Hillary Duff, which I'm all about. Hillary Duff, like she ages like fine wine. Her and Matthew McConaughey, like I don't know what they're drinking, I don't know what they're eating, but
I like know nothing about. I feel like I'm so out of pop culture, and you guys. And I was like, are they together?
No, but they age like they get better with age. Who else is like that?
Me.
Quick answer me. But no, I looked like Hillary Duff. I had one of those hats. I don't even know what you call that hat with like the mini brim.
Oh my God, I'm gonna look bad. They're like, you went to fashion school, you don't even know what that hat's called. But I don't have anything for you.
And then I wore like cargo pants and like a butterfly shirt, and then we had like the candy necklaces, and we had the ring pops.
Guys,
and
do
the
you know what humbled
roll-ups.
me so much though during this party is that those candy necklaces would not fit over. Like wouldn't even be a bracelet for me.
Dude, we have huge heads. We have dome pieces.
Huge watermelon heads.
Literally everyone else was like putting it over their head like no problem. Shane and I were like breaking like 5 candy necklaces in a row because we just couldn't get it over. Yeah, but it was so fun. That was like such a fun theme. I also feel like that made me like feel really old that's a theme, like, you know, because you grow up, you just like in the 80s, the 90s, and now it's like Y2K is a theme. How old are you?
Even with your baller brunch, it was so cool. Like I went through like old photo albums, like pulling up pictures of you, and it was just like, can we talk about like the haircut that it was like a pixie?
It was
like,
not a pixie.
It was basically a pixie.
We're gonna show a picture. You clearly don't know what a pixie cut is.
What would you call that haircut?
That was like,
what would you call it?
That was like a shoulder length bob.
It was literally not shoulder length.
It was not a pixie.
It was a men's haircut. Like you went to a barber shop.
Okay, says the girl Shay just like cut her hair short and she's like, I'm bald.
Okay, so if I'm saying that, like I'm really saying it for you. Like it was definitely done by a barber.
So dramatic. She like cuts 2 inches off her hair. She's like, I'm bald.
Like I look like dad. Our dad's bald. Shout out Kurt.
Shout out Kurt, who dresses up as Mr. Clean every single Halloween. But the baller brunch was so fun. We thought you like totally tricked me. Shay was like, oh, we're gonna go like stop by the cafe, and I was like, okay, cool. Like we went to Vester Cafe in Cambridge. So bomb, by the way. And I was like, cool, let's like go in and stop and get a coffee and whatever. And then like I see like orange balloons through the window. I was like, "Aw." And then like I was like, oh, like maybe they decorate, or I didn't really know what was happening. And then I open the doors and all of my friends are wearing like long baggy basketball jerseys, like Lizzie like with her like baller shoes and her like low ankle socks, and like there was food and balloons and like a ton of my friends and like old coworkers, and it was so fun.
Oh my God. Yeah. I had to like go digging through your childhood bedroom to find like some baller clothes. I was like, I've never have I ever worn basketball shorts.
It was really
I'm now
funny
on the
seeing
whole
you
kick
like that.
of never have I ever. I played that today during my running class.
That was fun.
And I think my running class was just like really caught off guard because, all right, so when
You
we
have
break
to-
down Equinox, like each club has a different vibe, and
Right.
like Chestnut Hill vibe, like if you're listening, Chestnut Hillers, they're just like, it's an older clientele.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, we're playing Never
Suburban
Have I,
moms,
when I'm
yeah.
like, we're playing Never Have I Ever, they were like, what?
I wanted you to get so raunchy with it.
I really thought about it, and then I had to like peel it back. I was like, Janet in the back row is like not having this at all right now.
I'm like, never have I ever like, let's go X-rated, R-rated. You're like, no.
Definitely not.
Yeah, that was fun though.
Well, I was like, oh, never have I ever had a gym crush, and you see like all these like guilty like people they're being like, I'm married, but yes, I definitely have a gym crush.
It's me.
Everyone has a gym crush.
Every
even
single
if you are in a
person has a gym
relationship-
crush. Even if you are in a relationship, you have a gym crush. You have someone that you see at the gym, and you're like,
You're lying to me if you say you've never like coordinated. Now, like I'm like embarrassed that no one will like chime in with me, but like you haven't coordinated a time at the gym because your gym crush is gonna be there.
yeah. You're like, I saw them there at 11 a.m. on Tuesday. So
Yeah,
like,
so I'm gonna try to go at that same time so that we cross paths.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever done that?
yeah, absolutely.
It just I don't know, something about just being in the gym, seeing them sweaty.
I know
out
it makes
hard,
you
you're like,
it
oh.
makes you work harder. I think they're allowed. Like I wouldn't consider it like a hall pass or anything like that. Like I just think like you're allowed to have a gym crush.
Well, I also think like it makes you work out harder. To your point, is that one of the questions today was like, never have I ever like upped my PR speed, so you're running treadmill speed, because of the person next to me, and I'm like, guilty.
Always.
So competitive.
Always. Yeah. No, I see like a girl like lifting heavier weights than me. I'm like, oh, I'm a pansy. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Another toxic trait.
Yeah, this podcast will be talking about how toxic we are.
Very toxic.
But I want to talk about, I guess, like life lately. Like, what have we been up to? Like, what?
Oh.
Also, so we left our full-time jobs. I think we got to a point that it was just, we were working insane hours, and I think we still are. Like, I feel like from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, we are like constantly thinking about like, ideas are flowing, and it just becomes, it's a lifestyle. It's not even a job.
Well, now I make this joke. I'm like, I don't know how I had a full-time job before because I feel like my days are full.
But yeah, people ask me to do anything, and they're like, don't you not have a job? And I'm like, first of all, rude. Like, I do.
First of all, it's really insensitive.
Yeah, and I almost feel like I'm busier than I was before.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, yeah, Shay and I were both working full-time, and then we would get like a few hours together on our off days. And,
Yeah, and like,
and
think
then
about it,
on
like
that
when we
few
got
hours, like
it's like we need to record 5 classes, we need to make 5 TikToks. Like
it was toxic.
that
The
was
theme of
toxic.
this podcast. It was toxic because and then like obviously on my off days, I'm like, okay, well, I just spent like 50 hours at my full-time job now. Like I have 2 days off. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be spending it also working. And then I was just cranky. And then like that just like builds up like resentment. And then it was just not a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think full transparency too is like we're still in a time of like so much like uncertainty. It's not like we can still it's not like we can afford 2 full-time salaries. Like this full transparency is that we cannot pay ourselves the salaries that we were making by any means. So we've been picking up these like odds and end jobs, like weaseling in random shit.
Well, it's so funny because like when I left my job, Shay would call me and she'd be like, I think you should be a flight attendant, because she wanted like free rides. I think you should work at like a golf club because she wanted like a free membership. I'm like, I'm not just like,
What would I do with a free golf membership?
I don't know. I just feel like that was one of your suggestions.
Maybe like, well, I just thought you would like make bank right on the golf course, like wearing a cute little skirt. Like, I just feel like
That's what I thought too. And then, okay, so I did apply to a golf club and I literally did like 3 days of training and I was like a server. So
didn't even get onto the floor.
Didn't even make it onto the floor. I was on the practice squad. I didn't graduate onto the team yet.
And already sends her resignation letter. Like, this just isn't for me.
Literally. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, you're either a service like restaurant person or you're not. Like, you either have it or you don't. Let me tell you, you don't have it.
That is rude.
You're
I
like,
used to have it. Like, I used to be a waitress, but like,
I cannot picture that.
I don't know. There is just something I mean, shout out to people who do work in the service industry. Like, it's just like,
you have to have thick skin
for sure. Like,
not be afraid to get like down and dirty.
Which I 1000%.
I get so grossed out by like wet food, or
speaking of wet food. Okay, so after you quit your country club, Leah finds a posting on Indeed, and if you guys didn't know, the U.S. Open, which I thought was tennis, but I guess it's also golf. Big golfer girl over here.
Yoch.
So Leah applies on Indeed. She's like, I got this sick gig. Like, I'm going to be working the U.S. Open. Like, you should do it with me. And I was like,
because they were saying, it was like on the news. It's like once in a lifetime experience, work the U.S. Open.
So of course I jumped right on board. I was like, all right, well, like what I picture, like men in tight golf pants, like me in a cute skirt, like living it up.
And La Vida Loca.
Let me tell you, that is not what happened. I don't think I saw a stroke of golf in my 12-hour day. A stroke of golf.
So originally I'd signed on for like a few days to work the U.S. Open. Like,
thank God we somehow convinced, like I feel like our schedule got so busy that we were down to one, and thank God.
Thank God. So we show up. First of all, we're mad late. She's like, I just
well, because they make it so complicated. Not only you couldn't like just drive to the golf course. No, like you had to drive to a mall. Then that would get you on a shuttle. Which
then you meet a guy in a poncho named Steve.
Right. Then would drop you 3 miles away from the destination, and you have like 20 million people in these black outfits. Like, first of all, I thought we were special. Like, but everyone's wearing the same thing. Like,
yeah.
Also, let's talk about wearing polos.
If
I was online for like the week before, like looking for how to make a cute polo. I was like crop top polo or like zip up polo.
If you
or
can
like
look sexy in a
polo,
please slide into our DMs with your polo pic, because I just like can't name an article of clothing that is less attractive than a polo.
It gives like, I don't even have boobs in it. I had a uniboob.
Somehow you had one boob.
It was one singular.
Yeah, so you're not like, you want to try to look sexy, so you get tips.
No.
Literally.
So first of all, okay, so I was already annoyed. We were an hour late checking in, and I was like,
you were annoyed. You made us an hour late.
That was not me. But anyway, so we go to check in, and they're like, are you the Dowdy sisters? We're like,
maybe.
And so they're like, oh, like looking at the time, and you're like,
no, literally,
I know.
was like such an awkward moment. They're like, and what time were you scheduled for again? We're like, it's literally like 10:40. We're like, 9 a.m. And they're like right in front of us, like right down, like they like with a big black Sharpie, like cross off the 9 a.m. big X, and they're like 10:47. We're like, oh, coming right out of my paycheck,
right?
Yeah, okay. Like that's fair, Susan. That's fair. Making minimum wage.
Minimum wage. We'll haul my ass over.
Just spend $30 on the shuttle, but it's fine. Okay, moving on.
Carry the one. I'll be walking away with the $1 and my lost dignity
and my polo cropped up.
So anyways, I'm like, fuck this. Like, we're making the most of this experience. And we like slowly stroll over. We're like TikToking on the way. Like, mind you, it's also
like, why are you late? We're like, we're TikToking.
We were TikToking. Did you not see it? But also, I didn't realize that golf was like a dead silent sport. Like, that was also kind of awkward because you hear like like, I understood the assignment, like the song going off in the background. And, like,
I know.
Everyone's like dead silent as
like,
they're putting the hole.
Yeah. Putting the hole.
Is that a term?
I don't think so. Putting the hole. I don't think that's right.
Okay, but anyway, so we show up. So we're working on the catering squad, and originally I was excited.
The catering squad.
You
we're working on the catering squad.
Okay. You may recognize us from the catering squad.
Oh my God.
And they tell us, right, we checked in late, and I was still surprised. They're like, you're on suites 13. Like, you're serving the suites. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, they still think highly of us.
Yeah.
If they're putting us on the suites.
Yeah, this is where the money's at.
So this is, for those of you who don't know, will tell you that they pay, like, big corporate companies pay a lot of money for.
It's like $100K.
100K for these companies to like buy out a suite, and you're supposed to have like unlimited food throughout the day, unlimited drinks, whatever. So we get there and we're pretty much like thrown into an assembly line, and they're like calling out numbers like,
yeah. So basically there was
it's
like
almost
food-
like on a conveyor belt, and you're like literally like have to catch the tray and then try to figure out like where you're delivering.
So Shai ever so conveniently like places herself like on the assembly line that doesn't have to move. And then I somehow had to be like a food runner, and like there was only like 6 of us, I feel like. So these suites were like not that close. So they would like give you a number. They'd be like, suite 17, or no, it was still in the same suite, but like the table numbers were like different. So you had to like walk upstairs, and like it was like, I don't know, like a 1/4 mile walk each way back and forth. And they were just like sending us out. So you'd come back and you'd be like tired from that walk. You had to go upstairs, you had to circle around and whatever, put a smile on your face, and you come back down like, all right, and back. I'm like, Jesus. And you're just sitting there like slapping a tuna sandwich together.
That was like after a while though, because I was walking around, and I feel like there's so many like tricks to the trade of being a server, right? Like at first I just like put down the whole tray, and Leah's like, no, you just put down the food.
Literally take it off the tray. Like, you're embarrassing me.
I was like, here. You're like, damn.
I was like, where's the
But anyways, so shit hits. First, it's like somewhat going smoothly. I was like, okay, like I feel like we're like catching our stride. 2 o'clock rolls around. Mind you, this event is going till like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
We run out of food.
Yeah.
And shit just like hits the fan. Like the whole kitchen is like chaos.
Up
like,
in arms.
Somehow, like within 20 minutes, like people are screaming. People like you don't want to go out into the stands because like people are just like rip shit that like
that there's no food and they paid like $100,000
an hour ago and it still hasn't come. I find myself in the back row, like literally shoving roast beef into hot dog buns. And like, I don't know, roast beef like sketches me out.
Yeah, me too.
Like, and in the hot dog bun, I was like, this, like, if I paid $100K for a roast beef hot dog bun, like, you best believe you'll be hearing from me, my manager, and my mom.
And Karen is on the case. Yeah, it was so bad. We ran out of food so early. There's like 5 hours left. And then like the head lady running the whole thing is like, I don't do well with stress. I'm like, oh, great. Like, I'm so glad you're in this position.
Oh my God. And so Leah and I are literally like, we know lunchtime is coming around and like my stomach's like grumbling. And so we literally are like hiding the last
like,
sandwich on the assembly line, like underneath the table.
Because we were like so hungry. And like we heard someone ask, because at the very least, like in the morning, we went to go pack our like Tough Cookies meals. And I was like, no, they're going to feed us. Like, of course they're going to feed us. Don't bring those. And then like some kid was like, so what do we get for lunch? I'm like, oh God, don't ask that. And she's like, you can have like the pre-made like 2x2 like Caesar salad. Don't take one with the chicken. And Shai and I are like, nope, we're hungry gals. So we were hiding. Like I've never felt so nervous in my life. We're like hiding this like cranberry chicken sandwich.
Oh my God. Well, I feel like speaking of just like getting hangry, like you and I have, again, another toxic trait is we get so hangry like so quickly.
Really bad.
Like I already know I don't want to be friends with you. And you're one of those people that says like, I forget to eat.
Oh, that's like
that never has that ever happened to me.
No, I am like, again, I am finishing up my meal and then I'm like planning out my next one. Like the amount of times we're having that conversation, we're having dinner, we're like, so breakfast tomorrow? What do you think?
Yeah. And like, I really rarely do I find myself like stranded without food. Like I always have, like some people have like a backup water, like my friend Jenny, she just like always has water with her, but like, I have like a backup like cooler of food.
Protein bars, fruit,
a backup steak.
a ribeye, an 8-ounce ribeye, just pulls it out of her purse. Like, yeah, I never want to be in a position.
Always a protein bar.
Always.
And like, it's not just like a regular protein bar.
It's like a meal replacement protein bar.
Yeah, which I definitely have never used as a meal replacement bar. Like it's always just like,
it's just
an
a snack.
additive.
Yeah. I love when we like make like a full on like turkey sandwich. We're like, just a snack. Yeah. Karen's like, what?
Oh my God. Well, my favorite, I forget what movie it's from. They're like, oh my God, I'm like starving. Like all I had today was like, and then like goes on to list like a sandwich, a steak.
I'm like, yes, I can see why you're hungry. Yeah, that checks out.
That makes sense.
But so after the US Open experience, you'd think we would be like scared of the food industry, but we stuck with it. And so Shai and I got ourselves into catering because we're like, okay, that's fast money. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need right now. We just need to do like short little gigs, and then the rest of our time we'll use on two-toned. So
teaching,
of course. So I like did a few catering gigs. I made like bank at a wedding. I made like $300 in tips one night, like literally working a backyard wedding. And I was like, Shay, this is great. You're going to want to do this. So one weekend I was like away on the Cape, and the guy who I did catering for reached out, and I was like, well, I can't come, but I have someone that looks just like me, a little less pretty, a little less funny, but right. she can come on and she can do it for you. So
he's like sold.
He's like, honestly, I'm sold. Let's go. So Shay, take us through here.
I show up and like I expect him to have like a catering truck or like something. I don't know. Like I don't know what I expected.
I mean, that's fair.
But I get there and like I guess it's like a clam bake. So like I just like can smell the fish like driving up to this lot, and I'm like, oh God. And like I see him, like I pull into the driveway and I like see him eyeing my car, and I'm like
he like just got it detailed.
I'm like, sir. And he's like holding up this lobster trap. He's like, I can see him like eyeballing my trunk, and
like getting the dimensions, like,
and this thing is like oozing like clam juice, like lobster juice. And he's like, can I put this in your car? And I was like, and of course, like I would never say no. Like I'll think a million things and I'll talk about I'll shit talk you on the podcast, but like I won't say it to your face.
Whereas I'm the opposite. I'll tell you how it is.
Oh yeah, no. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can take that. Anything else you want me to take? Like the raw fish, I can put that on my lap if you'd like.
Dead. So your entire car smells.
Yeah, and like Leah just like envisioned like, okay, like you're bartending, you're like gonna be pouring like these drinks. I feel like I was like heating up butter in the kitchen for like probably 10 hours.
And didn't you like not have enough butter, so he told you to add water or something?
I don't know. Yeah, so I was like bulking up this butter. If I had butter fingers, like this house is like immaculate. And like obviously like I don't come from the service industry, so like by the end like there was butter like all over the kitchen. Like, and it's kind of funny, like at the clam bake, like everyone was like, wow, like this butter. They were calling me butter girl by the end. I have a rep now.
Oh, so I don't know if the service industry is for us, but we got to do what we got to do right now.
Oh no, for sure. I know. What's next for us? It'll be TBD.
I feel like we're like Paris and Nicole from like, what is that show? I mean, like Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I forgot what it was called, like when they were like working on a farm. Or,
yeah,
like,
we just look so out of place when we do these catering.
Yeah, I remember like having to throw out the trash, and I was like, "Oh, my life is over." It starts to leak.
It's over.
Game
Stana.
over.
Oh my God. Yeah. So on top of our catering, we've been doing two-tone events have picked up, which is my favorite way to make money.
Oh, for sure.
Is by doing obviously
like
two-tones.
that's when I like catering feels so out of my element. Like I shouldn't belong in polo, but like when I'm in my like LSKD outfit, like my biker shorts, my matching bra, like I am just like in the zone, like so ready.
I know. I'm with you on that.
So we've done, what have we done this summer so far? Like I just compare it to last summer, and I feel like
it's my mental space is so much better this summer.
Last summer, like I feel like every podcast people like would listen to our podcast and be like,
are you guys okay?
Like I could tell you were very stressed.
Yeah. Like not cute for us. Not a good look.
So we used to do like, I think last summer was like figuring out like kind of like what worked, what didn't work.
Yeah.
It was a lot of like trial and error. And this summer we're kind of like, okay, like I know where I should be delegating my time.
Right. Not that we have it down to a perfect science.
Right. But I remember last summer we used to do these like events, and like we would roll up with our speaker. Like it is for probably like a stadium speaker, and we would plug it in this like tiny patch 2x2 of grass.
In Chestnut Hill,
like in front of a Shake Shack. And people would just be alarmed. Like restaurants would be like so annoyed by us. Like I remember one time like we did the class, and then like one of the restaurant owners came out and they were like, do you do this every Tuesday? And I was like yes. So like, would you love a business card? And like Leah was like, Shay, she literally was just like cussing you out for like, AKA like, I never want you to come back. I can't believe this is every Tuesday.
Like, take a business card, twotonetraining.com.
She's like, no, I'm just like curious on like how long you're going to be here.
Yeah, like I'm reporting rid of you. Yeah. So this summer we decided like, okay, less boot camps, more like podcasting and like creating content, and like we'll do these events, but they just won't be as often, and like that way people get more excited about it because they're like, okay, I only know I have like 2 Tuesdays in a month to hang out with two-tone training.
Right. I'd run.
So we started a run club, which so many people, that's like the funniest thing ever to me, so many people hate running.
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. Like I'm not a huge runner. I have done a few half marathons, but I'm really not a huge runner. But when I went to watch the Boston Marathon this year, I was like so inspired. You know, when you like and even when we went to Wadapalooza, I'm like, now we need to do CrossFit or like, but after literally the day that I watched the Boston Marathon, I like did a post and I was like, would anyone be interested in a run club if we did one? Because I was thinking for the people that don't want to run a marathon but still want to
be active, find
dabble,
community,
like dip their toe into a running shoe, into a Hoka,
and dip their toe into a Hoka,
or like a Brooks running shoe. What's out there for them? And I know there are some run clubs, but like, I don't know. I've been to some intimidating ones. Like I remember used to do the Nike one in New York City, and it was really cool. And they had like so many people, but it was like very serious runners for sure.
Yeah, don't they like break it up by like your pace? Yeah,
and like I would just like stumble my roll my ass over to like the 9-minute pace, and like you just kind of like felt bad about yourself. Like, but this is like the way that we do it. It's like a big lap around Boston Commons, so that way you don't really know like the paces. Like people will like kind of like form their groups as they go, and we had some people walking, but like it was kind of good in a sense that you could do 2 laps and then do the body weight workout, and you wouldn't necessarily need to make it that 3 times around.
Yeah, we kind of changed the format to make it just like a little bit more inclusive and like less high pressure, where we did like, okay, we gave people like an allotted time. Like
I remember, just speaking of runners, like, okay, so I used to do, so my serious boyfriend and I lived together for like, and we were together for like 3+ years. But then I feel like after that, I went through like a dating spree, right? Like I went on to so many dates, and then I finally like moved to Boston and was like, okay, I'm going to date in the Boston area. And let me tell you, the Boston dating scene is rough.
Yeah.
It's rough out there.
Yeah, it's not cute.
And I started dating this guy who like fitness wasn't his full-time job, but he was like very serious about running. Like, and it was like almost like awkward. Like we'd like wake up and he'd pretty much like try to like kick me out of his apartment. And I was like, but wait, don't you want to hang out? And he was like, no.
He's like, your Uber's here in 7 minutes.
Or no, but like sometimes he would just like have me watch his routine, and like you
told me one time.
You would think he was, like, gearing up for a marathon.
I'm sorry. Can we talk about like how like the second time you ever slept over, he like had you listen to like a meditation together?
Oh yeah.
That was weird.
Like it's like one of those calm things, but I like it. That's what I kind of liked about it.
Guys, if you went to go sleep over someone's house for the second time and they had you like listen to this meditation with them,
but
like,
I feel like it's weird dating and like the wellness scene. You're kind of like, oh my god, like I love, like you take pre-workout too. Like
it's different.
Like you have a nighttime routine. I love that.
You
about
have dream. You take dream too.
Right. Like I love that about you.
Oh my god. Okay.
But this I did not love. Like it was like an hour before you like actually went out of the door. Like first you would like get in his outfit, which first of all, it wasn't cute. And then
the bulge.
Yeah. And then like strap on his jetpack. And then there was a very specific like soundtrack you would play, and it like there was no words. It was just like a constant like steady like beat. Like I'm literally getting heart palpitations like thinking about it. And then he would have like, don't you have the gels like when you're running?
Yeah, he would have them before.
Like before, and then like a crazy powder, and it was very specific about like what he ate before, and like didn't want to talk. Like he would put his headphones in, and then like we would sit there in like silence for like an hour.
So there's a reason why you guys ended after like 3 months.
Yeah, it didn't work out. And he wouldn't come to class. That was a big thing for me. Like
that was
every once in a while.
Well,
but like he was like, I have to run and I can't do.
Yeah, one time he like didn't come to your class because he was like, I need to hit my miles. I was like, that's so lame.
That's so
We
rude.
have the 3-month rule now, is what we've decided. Do you remember that?
Okay, yeah. Wait, can you remind me? So I'm like, I'm like, yes, we do. And I'm like, wait, what is it?
So basically we've decided that like anyone can put on a front for 3 months.
Oh, for sure. Like, I feel like that's such a mile marker. Like
3 months. If you can like make it past 3 months and like really still like this person and like they're still good to you, then like I feel like the probability and the percentage that you're going to work out like skyrockets. But like anyone can pretend to be any kind of person for 3 months.
Oh no, because like how many times in relationships can you be like, oh my god, well he used to do this,
yeah,
or like this is how I felt when we first started dating, like can we get back to that? And you're like, that really wasn't who that person was.
Right.
That was when they were trying to court you, and then
yeah,
now, like they just got comfortable.
And also like first 3 months, like I feel like you're still like you're not seeing them so much. You're like going on dates like once a week, and like,
and I mean we're all like guilty of like kind of like I mean if
your best self,
right? If my batshit ass like comes out in the first 3 months, like no one would want to be with me. Like let's be real.
Yeah, no, of course you want
like, something that you like that like after 3 months,
yeah,
what comes out in you?
I feel like I am like not a patient person, and like
yeah,
I also definitely like I'm not mean, but I definitely say things like that are like can come off as like insensitive.
Yeah, like I feel like sometimes like Leah will like go to send a text to someone she's dating and I'll like have to like filter it for her. I'm like, Leah, that's a you issue. And like you're gonna have to like ease that text. Like, and I know you don't necessarily mean it in a mean way, and it never is like trying to like dig at the person. I'm just like, it's gonna come off that way.
Right. Like, okay, for like the sleep thing, I'm like, oh, I don't want to have a sleepover because like I wouldn't get my 8 hours then, and like then I'll be like upset.
And I'm like, yeah, you have nothing to do the next day. Like you don't have anything to do till 4. Like I feel like you need to just suck it the fuck up. Yes, Leah, I think we've talked about this. Like Leah sleeps like butt naked with a fan with like a white noise machine. Like I feel like with someone in her ear, like with a snack next to her. Like she is so particular.
Wait, guys, I sleep with blackout curtains plus an eye mask. Like,
yeah, people have said like it is so dark I can't even think.
Like I literally cannot hear my thoughts because it's so fucking dark.
I feel like I sometimes sleep with an eye mask if I'm like, okay, like I'm getting ready to like actually slumber because I don't have like anything to do right away. But like for the most part, I like almost like my blinds waking me up.
Yeah, no, not for me. Okay, what is something that you after 3 months will? I think I know the answer.
Okay, wait, I want to
like,
hear what you want to say about me.
Okay, you are like so nice, and then like you do have like an angrier side.
Oh, for sure,
definitely. Like you're a true Gemini. Like you've got 2 sides, like super sweet, and then like there is this like angry little
I feel like
troll inside of you.
Troll. That is the weirdest thing anyone's ever said about me.
And like it definitely will come out like after 3 months. Like if someone pisses you off, like
right. Like I don't think I let it out and like only relate to the people that I like are super close to me.
Yeah.
And like those are the people that like I don't have a filter with. So like if something like upsets me, like I have a really hard time, especially for some reason when it's someone I'm dating.
Yeah.
Like I have a hard time like letting things go because I'm like, our relationship should be perfect. So like I don't like what you did there. So like I'm gonna tell you.
I'm gonna let you know that wasn't cool.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I think the 3 month rules. I would live by that.
3 month rule. Is that what we're giving ourselves for like? Yeah. What is the timeline on us? Like success wise for us, like as far like it's hard to know because people have asked us that, and that's why I'm like presenting the question. But
are we having a business meeting right now?
Basically.
Well, no, I think like success looks different for everyone, and like we said, we obviously can't go full time because we can't pay each other a salary. But if you look back and think about every single thing we've done in the past 2 years, like it's amazing.
Yeah, no, and I honestly think I'm like kind of like the happiest I've ever been too, in a sense
Me
of
too.
like feeling that sense. And I think it's like a millennial thing too, is like people don't want to sit behind a desk all day, right? Especially now with working remote and whatever. Like I think people love that added sense of freedom. So like especially those companies that are kind of having that old school mindset and having people come back into the office, like they're losing employees. Like you have to keep up with the times. Like, so I think a flexible schedule is like probably top priority for a lot of people. And I don't know, like that definitely feeds into my happiness, knowing that I can schedule my work meetings, get my shit done, but it's on my own time. It's on my own agenda.
Yeah, no, I think that's been like the best part about leaving my full-time job is just like having that flexibility. And of course it's scary because I'm like, okay, now I don't have like a check coming in like every other week.
I'm like, Leah, isn't it payday? Like, do you want to, can you pay me?
I'm like, no. But no, it's just like, I feel like I'm truly the happiest I've ever been. And like, without like taking that leap of faith, obviously it's scary. Like you never truly find out like what you're capable of until like your back's against the wall.
Same thing as like when you don't, like some people wait until like everything's perfect. And I was even talking to mom the other day about like buying a house or whatever, and she's like, if you wait until you feel like you can afford the house or you can afford to like pay yourself a full-time salary, like you're never actually gonna do it.
No, I agree. And so are we buying a house?
I was gonna tell you that after this. I honestly, okay, hear me out. I think we should buy a house. I think our like significant others like know this at this point, that like we are such a package deal that like it is always going to be
Shai
a throuple, a quadruple, like what I picture for us is that like we're gonna have like our partners and like live in the same house and like raise our family together, like probably in bunk beds, like. No, like my idols are like Nikki and Brie Bella, if you guys don't follow them.
And they're neighbors now.
They're neighbors. Like how much would I love that?
I would love that.
And if what's that TikTok like? Basically, like,
And
if you
sister.
invite someone here, like, my sister, like, you think you can tell me something and I won't tell my sister. And like in a relationship too, I'm like,
Every single thing
you
that
think my
happens.
sister doesn't know is kind of funny.
Like comical.
Yeah, like if I'm mad at you, like she's mad at you. She's probably even madder at you.
I'm more pissed off at you, honestly.
Right. And I'm like, not only do you need to apologize to me, like you should definitely apologize to Leah for what you just
I'm
did.
waiting.
No, but it's true. So now that no one will ever.
Everyone's scared of us.
Yeah, no one's interested in us anymore.
So what's good for the rest of the summer? What are you doing?
Rest of the summer.
Isn't it crazy that it's already mid-July? That freaks me out.
I know. I feel like we're past the birthdays. Leah's is like the last birthday of like the family.
Yeah.
And now we're just focusing on, I feel like, trying to get as much as we possibly can into the next few months while the weather is nice before it turns like cold and a shitstorm here in Boston.
Right. We've got like,
we do have a move. Our lease ends in November, so we definitely have to figure some shit out.
Everyone keeps asking us where we're moving, and I'm like,
we're buying a house.
Don't know. Yeah, apparently we're buying a house.
Yeah. So stay tuned. If you guys don't already follow us on Instagram. I'm kind of excited that this was like our first podcast in a while. Just us. You guys have to let us know like what you think. If there are any guests that you would like us to have on.
No, us two forever.
Just us two.
Just us. No.
Love that for us.
We'll see.
Okay, we're gonna end, I feel like, with a little game that we put together.
Yeah, so this is trending. It's like he's a 10 or she's a 10, but so they're a 10.
Okay, so they're a 10, right? So like then you'll have to rate them, and I wonder if we'll agree on these.
Okay,
they're a 10, but they don't come to your class.
Automatic, yeah, automatic like 4.
Wow, she's harsh. I feel like
because that's like you can't like even if that's not your thing, like you can't like suck it up for like
okay. So
one time
your
and
thing?
not
Are you
be
saying just like
supportive.
missing one class? Or are you saying like if they like
Or like I'll never come to class.
Come. You're saying I never come to class.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. If they said I'm never coming to class, then yeah, you're like a 2. But if you like come every once in a while and it's not your thing,
That's
like you don't need to come to every
like
class.
a 6,
6, 7.
6, 7. Yeah, that's.
But
fine.
you really should be front row with a foam finger that says Shay.
with a fat head. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
All right.
They're a 10, but get you dunks instead of Starbies.
Like an 8.
Like you tried.
Yeah. You brought me coffee. What do you think?
7.5.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Like, if you know me, you would know that I'd prefer Starbucks.
Yeah.
They won't watch reality TV with you.
I feel like that's like the same as like they won't gossip with you. And like, you need someone that you can gossip with.
Well, I also could just never, like, it'd be hard for me to envision my life with you, like, because, like, I feel like I come home from a long day and, like, that's what I love to do is just, like, lay on the couch. Like, I get it might not be your top show, but, like, you would do it every once in a while because you know that that's what I would enjoy. So as long as you would do it every once in a while. But if you refuse to watch it, like, you're a 5.
I'm with that. All right. They're a 10, but they won't take your photo for Insta.
We can't date.
No, it's a no.
We can't date.
Let me have my moment.
Yeah, so you're in the negatives.
Okay.
But what about this? Okay, so kind of going off of that, like they're a 10, but they won't comment on your Instagram.
Your partner should be your hype person. Like they should be commenting like, babe, you are a fucking 12 out of 10. You're so damn sexy. Like,
but do you do that?
Yeah, always like a cute comment. Like, oh my God, you look so good. Like hot. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't know. I'm all for that. I think that's like,
yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been in relationships where like the person's not on social media or doesn't do that. So then it's like kind of harder to, but I feel like if you're present on social media, like you should have the whereabouts. Whereabouts. I don't know.
Underwear.
To know that like you should comment.
Yeah.
Drop a flame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We didn't give it a score. So if they don't comment, what, like a,
but they don't comment, but they like it. Probably 6. A 6.
Okay. Okay, last one. We already kind of talked about this earlier in the pod, but they aren't obsessed with food or they forget to eat. Like, I feel like talking about food is a love language. Can we add that on to being a love language?
Yeah, like physical touch and food.
and talking about food.
Yeah.
Like nothing like gets me more excited with a partner than to be like, oh my God, what are we having later? Should we do this? Should we do that?
Picture the balsamic glaze.
Yeah.
The dunking of the chicken wings.
And then after we'll get ice cream and like, what kind are you going to get? Like, you need to be able to get excited about your meals with your partner.
Well, that was like one thing on Leah's birthday that we always for birthdays instead of, we're like, don't bother with a cake because cake doesn't really excite us.
Yeah.
We always get ice cream, and
Yeah.
like us going over the ice cream list, like it takes us probably like a good half hour to be like, well, if I swap out that topping for this topping,
The donut glaze or the doughy cookie bites.
yeah, like
What if I get both?
right? And if you fuck up that order, I'm like, don't talk to
You're
me.
a 0.
Literally, Leah got whipped cream on mine the other day. When I asked for frosting,
She asked for
You
frosting.
can't
Okay.
even equivalent
Okay, well-
whipped cream to it was still good, and like, I
Okay.
won't be mad at you, but
So yeah, so we'll leave our listeners with this. So Shay asked for, she was like, I really, really want frosting. And then like they didn't have frosting on the menu. So I like didn't know what to do. So instead I went with like a homemade cinnamon whipped cream. And she's like, but you should have got me peanut butter instead.
duh.
So let me just leave you with that. Should I have gotten her the peanut butter, or was the whipped cream the sensible move in substitution for frosting?
I don't know.
Think about it.
The whipped cream was a slap in the face to me. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna slap you in the face with the whipped cream if you keep that up.
Ooh, that's perfect. All right. Well, guys, this was so much fun.
I know. I wonder if people are gonna like be able to differentiate our voices because they're so similar.
Oh yeah.
I was the funnier one, guys.
Mine's the more angelic one.
Alrighty. With that, you can tone from home,
You can tone from your phone.
but all we ask is that you don't tone alone. Bye, guys.